Welcome. Welcome to another one of our series in How do I, in this case, support someone through illness or loss? Connie?
Well, when you think about illness or loss, those are like two very big categories. There's some similarities, just providing somebody some support. I mean, as you know, I'm going through a little bit myself as you get into this stage of life with some elder care concerns.
So, any insights, lessons, wisdoms that you can pass on to our team? Anyone who's listening, I got a bunch.
Yeah, well, good. Well, because I could use
Mhm.
this as a therapy session today, but also I think the things I've started to learn and apply the Be the Sun work towards my day-to-day experiences so far is to not catastrophize everything, for one, to start looking forward into the future and trying to have a plan for exactly how I'm going to handle every element of this journey, trying not to do that. Because as a planner, that's my first take is, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And is it going to be a once a month visit? How am I going to get down to Florida? Those are all the things that are going through my brain, and trying to bring it down into a smaller little subset of time and commitment is helping a little bit.
So, my counsel around this stuff, first for myself and for you and for anyone, is do the bare minimum and don't lay a trip on yourself on you could do more, because we who
Hmm.
are compassionate people with empathy, we think and know, and it's true, I could do more. Yes, you
Yes.
can. So please be compassionate with yourself and do only what you can do today. Just try and focus on, well, what could I do today for him or for her? My
Hmm.
neighbor who lost his 91-year-old father, now this was a terrible month-long horror show, and then he
Mm.
finally passed. But my
Yeah.
neighbor he was really, really struggling, and we made a commitment, my wife and I, Saturday night to have him over and just listen to him. And he cried and he shared and he lamented.
Mm.
And I know enough to shut up and just listen. Don't offer advice. Don't talk about the future. There's so many things you could say about and remember. And I slipped
Hmm.
into it a couple times, but mostly we were really good. Be there, offer a good listening ear, and
Hmm.
think of just today. It was Saturday night. And of course, it was great. He sent us a beautiful note of thanks because I know that this is really, really simple and important.
Right.
Don't overthink it. So for you, don't think about what you're going to need to do for grace in the future. I know your mind goes there. How about
Hmm.
just today?
Right.
And if you keep it that simple, Connie, it'll be helpful today. Tomorrow, you can deal with it tomorrow. You got plenty to do tomorrow, but keeping it simple and the smaller is better. A text, a kind word, hand on the shoulder,
Right.
hug, a listening ear. Hey, just so you know, I'm there for you.
Right.
And I've gotten really good at this because I've learned through others' loss and illness. Smaller is better. Hey, thinking of you,
Yes.
text.
Hmm.
Hope I'm not bothering you by letting you know I'm thinking of
Right.
you.
Well, and I think the important thing you just talked about too, and we've talked about this in other contexts, is the ability to listen and ask questions. If you're not getting the right information, I think, and we have this risk of doing this with children. We have the risk of doing this with people we don't think understand the consequences, or even as people get older. And to give advice without somebody wanting it is pretty detrimental to the relationship.
The only thing that I agree with you 1,000%. The only thing that I usually say when someone is grieving
Hmm.
is the simple truth because I find it helpful. Grief is not a linear process.
Hmm.
Don't let
That's
anybody
true.
tell you it goes through 4 stages and it's
Hmm.
not linear. It's circular. Allow yourself to feel whatever. And then I shut up.
Hmm.
And man, I know that I can get talky with advicey, but my better self is just there with them, letting them know,
Right.
hey, I got your back. On illness, the dear colleague whose son was in the ICU for like a month with so much
Wow.
unknown when your kid is in the ICU. It's really hard because the ICU is the worst place to be. You can't sleep. It's horrible. The unknowns are all around
Mhm.
you. And all I did was check in with him. And he really
Mhm.
appreciated it. And I don't
Right.
mind that I was good at that. So just remember to check in with people. God, I've gone through difficult times and
Right.
people are there for me. It's that simple.
Right. You remember something we learned from Brad Aronson, that opportunity, and don't just say to somebody, you actually put something on them. If someone's grieving or going through something difficult and you say, just let me know what I can do to help. Not helpful. You've just given them another job. And by the way, you've not shown any real compassion for what they're going through.
Yeah. And the main thing is what you just said is don't lay more trips on them. Don't ask
Right.
them to do more work,
Mhm.
whatever that work might be,
Right.
emotional
Just
work or
do something
psychological.
for them. Do
Hmm.
something for them, or say, would it be helpful if I blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
That was a big learning for me, because I think it's kind of a natural reaction, is you don't want to impose and you want them to know you care. And I think that was a really good no to learn.
Also, I like when I can do it because it brings out the best in me.
Hmm.
My wife had an injury recently while we were traveling, and it just forced me in the best possible way. Okay, caregiver role, step up and see if you can get the Academy Award for the best possible caregiver you can be. Not looking for the award, but okay, let's see if I can really be a good caregiver. I
Hmm.
love the opportunity to be a caregiver, to be helpful, to just force myself to, okay, this isn't about me at all. So
Do you have
I
any
like the
lessons
opportunity.
learned? Like something you
Oh,
thought would be helpful that was like not helpful?
less is more. You don't
Okay.
have to do a lot, but you got to be there. Just check. Would this be helpful? Okay. Are you okay? All right. How about this? Anything I can do? Good. Um, look for opportunities to let me help
Right.
you get dressed. Let me help you get undressed. And keeping it simple. Don't overthink it, and don't make a big deal about it. That's a
Hmm.
huge lesson. A friend of mine shared that I told this story. We had a great experience while traveling, even though she broke her arm. And one of the things that was so wonderful is that we, both of us, were determined to have a great experience, even though ostensibly from the outside, like, oh my God. It wasn't, oh my God. It was, oh, okay, this is what we got. Let's see if we
Hmm.
can make it great. And we did. I like that lesson. No matter what happens to us and around us, what's required of me, let this circumstance bring out
Right.
the best in me.
Yeah, if I could reiterate anything that you said that felt so good, was asking questions. So we
Mhm.
talked about that a little bit, but that reality of, it's so easy to get like you're just trying to be helpful. You just keep going and going, and let me just pick this up for you. Let me put your leg over here. Let me do. And I think that question, would this be helpful? And being very patient in the way you ask, I think that's a big lesson. Sounds simple, but probably hard to do in the moment sometimes.
I, I think if you can remember that if you're a human being in a community, which you are, that the opportunity to be there for someone who's going through a difficult time, whether it's a loss or an illness
Hmm.
or an injury, is so cool that we get the opportunity to be a helpful caregiver.
Hmm.
It is fantastic. And if you accept that role, it's a really cool role to play well. So, embrace it, own it, be grateful for the opportunity that you have the capacity to be a helpful soul.
Hmm.
And I find it just uplifting.
I think for us and for anyone who's listening, this gives us an opportunity when someone isn't asking questions to maybe redirect and reframe it and just say, it would be really helpful to me, as if you asked what would be helpful and when it would be helpful, instead of, trying very hard to be helpful, because it's not always that way.
Remember, we're going to be there. So constantly look for opportunities to practice being your
Hmm.
best self around the person who's going through the difficult time. Such a gift.
Such a gift. So let's be our best selves. And I think we started out coaching me a little bit, like, be good to yourself while you're trying
Mhm.
to be your best version of yourself. But also, let's look to what that person needs, and not make it about you.
Love it.
It's a great way to wrap that one up. So, this one, if you get inspired by any of this, if you've got any good stories for us, we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, thank you for listening and have a great day.